Hey everybody, welcome back to the Amazing Fantasy Podcast. Hope everybody had a good May the 4th weekend. I know I enjoyed myself. Saw Phantom Menace on the silver screen. It was fantastic. So Disney dropped a new miniseries recently called Tales of the Empire. And decided to check it out. I wasn't going to watch it originally, but it's actually pretty good. My only complaint is I wish it was more about Barriss Offee and less about the witch chick from the Ahsoka series that no one cares about. We have the trailer here on the screen, but because the Barriss Offee episode were actually kind of interesting. If you know the character from the expanded universe in particular, you know that she is an actual Jedi healer, which once again Disney took that concept and destroyed it. With Rey, you can just do everything. She literally, what did she do in Disney Wars? She stabbed that worm thing and then healed it out of nowhere. Who the hell taught her how to heal? Not Luke. Not Luke. I'm like, but yeah, Barriss is an actual Jedi healer. They're kind of rare in the Star Wars universe. Probably more common in the Old Republic because I guess you could say they're more traditional back in the day. But so Barriss's story was interesting in this. I didn't like what they did with her in the Clone Wars series, like at all. So I was kind of relieved when I saw this, and they kind of redeemed the character for me. I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of interesting. I'm a little tired of redemption arcs in Star Wars, to be completely honest. It's an annoying trend. They just keep doing over and over again. And it's kind of boring at this point. Brooks and Vader, of course. Anakin Vader, fine. I don't need it for everybody. Sometimes villains can just be villains. But, of course, there are no Star Wars villains anymore, apparently. Except for ones that died 30 years ago, according to Jar Jar Abrams. He calls himself a Star Wars fan. Yeah, okay. I just see the Phantom Menace and the Silver Screen was such a breath of fresh air for me because Disney Wars just stopped so badly. It's like one disaster after the next. It really started with Disney Wars 7. As excited as I was for it, it was a freaking mess. I think I was in denial for a while. That's how bad it is. That Star 3, the Sand Planet. They're playing it safe. They don't have to make it better. You don't need to do politics the way George Lucas did in the prequels. Do it better. They didn't do it. They didn't even do politics in Disney Wars era because they're scared, and they're still scared. All these years later, still scared. So, of course, when the Phantom Menace comes back to the silver screen and makes close to $1 billion opening May 4th weekend, I'm not surprised. George Lucas era Star Wars, of course, it's going to make bank. So unlike Disney Wars, actually telling a story. This tells the Empire, who's the Barriss Offee part, telling a story. There should have been more episodes. Honestly, I don't like that they left it on a cliffhanger. Because unless they're going to make more of these. The one thing I would ask of Disney and Lucasfilm is to get away from the Clone Wars original trilogy era and go to the Old Republic. Like, come on. I know there's a lot of stories to tell, I guess, but at this point it's just redundant. How many times can you go to the Clone Wars era to a new story? At this point, it's like, you know what? We should do something else. Old Republic has got an ocean of stories. They got a bookshelf right there filled with expanding universe books. All of them are expanding universe books. And there's another incredibly powerful family in the Old Republic, the Sham family. Bastila rather than Theron. And Satil Sham, Theron's mother. Kid, Theron is actually not even force sensitive, which I thought was kind of interesting. We listened to the audio tape a couple days ago. He's not even force sensitive. It's actually kind of interesting. See, that's the type of stuff you can do when you branch out. Now, you can tell the exact same story like they did with Barriss in the Old Republic, but have a lot more room to work with versus another loopy in between story that we've seen hundreds of times. So like they kind of dive into the how the Inquisitors train fallen Jedi to become Inquisitors. Basically, you're tortured until you surrender or they kill you. Simple as that. It kind of reminds me of the Sith in the Old Republic in particular. And the Sith aren't always bad. Most times, like in the Old Republic, the Sith and Jedi leave the council and whatnot. It's because they disagree with the Jedi. It doesn't make them bad. Sure, they got red lightsabers, but they're not always like as corrupt as Palpatine. Some of them simply just disagree with what the Jedi do. Like in the Mandalorian Wars, the council decided to just sit on their ass, twiddle their thumbs instead of doing something about the Mandalorian threat. So of course, rather than Malik and Bastila forming a rebellion, people were freaking dying. Jedi's supposed to protect people. Supposed to be guardians of peace. They're sitting on their ass. Well, we can't do anything. Let's just sit around. It's almost the exact same thing with the Clone Wars era. It's like the Sith. Well, the Sith have been extinct for millennia, have they? Because one just attacked Qui-Gon Jinn in the desert. I don't think they could have returned while it's known. Clearly they did, you moron. Like my only complaint about that is I do wish there were more Jedi that had lines of dialogue in the council meetings besides Mason and Yoda. It's like have an actual discussion. Like you got 10 Jedi sitting in a circle. This is before the Jedi Purge, so there's like tons of them in the council chambers, and you got two, maybe Cutie Mundi saying something, talking about what Qui-Gon's report. And I'm like, man, can we have an actual table discussion? It's another thing I love about the Phantom Menace. People sitting down and talking. You don't get any of that in Disney Wars. People having a conversation. We had Luke and Oklahoma, Peru, and the original Star Wars, sitting and having a meal, discussing things like actual people would do. It's another cool thing about the EU is that there were moments in the books where the Souls and Skywalkers would just be sitting around the dinner table having a meal, talking about stuff. No lightsabers, no blasters, just having a freaking meal. Some people might call that boring, but that's character development. Those are character moments. That's the best part of Star Wars. At least they used to be. Another reason the Phantom Menace made like $1 billion May the 4th weekend. Because there's actual characters in the film. Disney Wars ain't got no characters. Rey's not a character, she's a caricature. She's a representation of Empress KK and her stupid agenda. And this stupid Acolyte show is another representation of that as well. You saw a trailer behind the Phantom Menace. It looks terrible. It looks terrible. Like, this can't be real. Like, you got Trixie from the freaking Matrix. It's just so bland and boring. It just looks like just Trixie wearing a freaking robe, whatever her name was in the Matrix. Like, put her in makeup, put her in prosthetics, make her an alien, something. Like, why do we guys still have these boring ass looking Jedi in these stupid shows? This is ridiculous. No offense to Trekkie, this is not Star Trek. Star Trek aliens look like humans. Star Wars aliens look like actual aliens. It's the bloody difference that we still can't seem to get that right in Disney Wars. You know what they can do? Death Star 3, bringing Palpatine's old ass back with no explanation, right? Jar Jar Abrams. Having Luke Skywalker, the literal star of the series, acting completely out of character in the last third. I don't think you can do anything with Leia. Unfortunately, Carrie passed away before. Can't really do anything with her character, but yeah, it was crap. Yeah, I like Billy D as much as anybody else. No one's watching Star Wars for Lando Calrissian. No. That's a sad fact. But like this Tales of the Empire thing is a step in the right direction, I suppose. Still not quite what I'm looking for. It's similar to what was on the expanded universe with Tales of the Bounty Hunters, Tales of Jabba's Palace, that type of thing. I can appreciate that at least. But it's time to move on from the Clone Wars era and the original trilogy. It's okay to branch out to other parts of the bloody galaxy. It's supposed to be a galaxy, not a neighborhood. It's like, it's why I didn't bother with that Andor show. I'm like, man, I saw Rogue Zero one time in theaters, fell asleep until the Vader scene at the end. I did not come out of theater saying, gosh, I just got to see more of that Spanish dude that I couldn't even understand. You guys had blown up by the freaking Death Star. It is kind of super boring that character, you know. There's a bunch of other boring ass regular humans in Star Wars. I'm sure there are people that enjoy it, but I'm not one of them. So it's not my brand of Star Wars. I didn't watch the Omega show. I don't like the character at all. The other characters that show to me are just really bland. And that show to me was a hit and miss. I got excited when I thought Kanan was going to be in the show. So they had a young Kanan, who was Caleb at the time, in the first episode of the series. And I got excited. Then he disappeared. I'm like, you know what? Forget. And I just checked out. I knew what they were doing. Another stupid babysitting show. It's like this Mandalorian road movie. First of all, that's a stupid title for a Star Wars film. 2, this kid is like, what, 50 years young and still can't talk? Do something with him. Get rid of him. You want to make me satisfied? Just make a bounty hunter film without the kid. That'll be great. I might pay to see that. But I don't care about him running around with a little kid all the freaking time like it's a freaking Disney cartoon. This is ridiculous. So unfortunately, this Tale of the Empire thing ends on a cliffhanger. Barriss Offee's fate is unknown. Yeah, that's where I was kind of confused. I'm like, you can at least finish the damn story. Like, come on. All 6 episodes should have been about Barriss. It should have been a no-brainer. No one cares about this Morgan Elspeth the crew chick. It wasn't interesting in Ahsoka. So I don't know why I would care about her now. It's the same thing with Andor. I didn't care a damn about him in Rogue Zero. His arc was interesting, but he doesn't have not an interesting enough character. So what do they do to make a prequel? Yippee. So like maybe if they just again branch out to other parts of the galaxy, Old Republic would be my vote. Probably not going to do as long as the cowboy hat guy is in charge. Don't even know who the Old Republic is. Ahsoka isn't in it, probably doesn't know that it even exists. It's probably the harsh truth. Can't put Ahsoka in the Old Republic, so I guess just doesn't care about the Old Republic. Unfortunate. This is why people don't care about Disney Wars. And why the Phantom Menace done made like $1 billion on May the 4th. I was there. It was a pretty decent crowd. And that was a lot of fun. 20-something years later, still made bank. Don't get me wrong, Disney Wars made bank, but it's got crappy writing, crappy characters. Granted, Phantom Menace isn't the best. It's not the worst. It's certainly not the worst. I think Attack of the Clones is 10 times worse than Phantom Menace. But it's that story. There's a lot of important Easter eggs and moments in the Phantom Menace that set up the entire saga that a lot of people just overlook because they're too focused on, oh, it's this is that, little Anakin this, little Anakin that, Jar Jar Binks that. It's a lot more going on than people think. Like Palpatine in particular is already in the Senate, been in the Senate for years, and he's been working behind the scenes, manipulating everything. He's been manipulating everything for years. You see in the Phantom Menace how he's just working his magic and again manipulating everything and everybody. He convinced Queen Amidala to basically downvote another senator in a matter of seconds. Now, granted, he's supposed to be her advisor in that situation, but just thinking about how easy it was for him to just manipulate her and whisper in her ear. So you could call for a vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valora. First, she's like resistant to it, and then all of a sudden, it just happens to be a situation where she actually does it. And he just looked at Palpatine's face, he's like acting like he's surprised. Like he didn't already know what was going to happen. He's such a snake. You would overlook that. Even Attack of the Clones is like, oh, Padme, the thought of losing you was unbearable. I don't know how he said that with a straight face on, but just thinking about how much he planned in advance. He just happens to bring up Obi-Wan Kenobi and put them in the same situation so she could remarry Anakin and all that can start. That ain't a coincidence. But people overlook that because they're like, oh, it's not like the original trilogy. That's what you were expecting. And you set yourself up for disappointment. That's not George's fault. George made the prequels for those who wanted to see the story from the beginning. Didn't make it to diss the fans like Disney Wars, or to promote some stupid agenda like Average Cake has been doing for the last 10 years. You have to be blind not to see it at this point. Acolyte is a literal representation of Average Cake's agenda. There's no story. Still don't know who these characters are. Set in like 50 freaking years before the Phantom Menace is even dumber. It's kind of the stupidest. Don't make any sense. Because when Darth Maul attacks Qui-Gon in the freaking desert, that's a revelation. They thought the Sith were gone and they weren't coming back. Then one shows up and attacks him. That was to get them thinking, of course. But like 50 years, these idiots, they thought the Sith weren't coming back in the prequels 50 years earlier. All these Jedi were running around. None of them are in the movies, apparently, clearly. One reason they're doing it 100 years or whatever, so they throw Yoda's little ass in there. So they're gonna flip around like an idiot again. Well, don't get me wrong. The Yoda fight was cool the first time, but he looks like an idiot jumping around like a bouncing ball or something. Like, Yoda from the original trilogy is the best. He never needed a lightsaber. He was a wise little dude. Wise little Jedi Master. Doing his thing. Yeah, I don't like digital Yoda. Like in the prequels, like at all. I'm like, yeah. You kind of ruined him for me. Making Yoda younger or whatever, I guess. He's still like 800 or something in the prequels, so. But yeah, the only decent thing to come out of this era to me is probably Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor. I can't think of any other Star Wars material that actually feels like Star Wars. Yeah, I don't care about Andor guy. It's too different for me. I don't care about the character enough. It's too different. I don't like it. That's the best thing out. I don't need lightsabers and everything, but the character is not grabbing my attention. I'm not gonna sit through like 20 episodes of this crap. It's not gonna happen. I heard about a heist in the show, like where they take like 3 episodes to get to the damn heist. Just tell the heist story. I've read books that take less time to develop a heist story. Like I can only imagine the next set of these little tale stories. The Tales of Jedi was terrible to me. It was awful. They ruined Yaddle. I can't accept that fate for Yaddle. That was terrible. Yaddle was way better than that. Have her go down like a punk. Just it's ridiculous. I know Count Dooku from the books and whatnot. And they had a little freaking infant Ahsoka. Like, we know she's gonna be a Jedi. Why are we seeing a little tiny ass Ahsoka? She's already a teenager when we freaking meet her. Like, more pointless stories. It's dumb. Stop wasting my time. So this was definitely an improvement over Tales of the Jedi. I don't know, as an advocate of the expanding universe, I'm tired of these same 5 stories, same 5 characters that we get over and over again. It's either the Clone Wars or it's the original trilogy, or something squeezed in between. Some character has been done to death already, like Darth Vader. Vader appearances are cool, but I'm like, obviously it's done for to boost the ratings and whatnot, but I'm just like, there are other cool Sith characters in the Old Republic in particular that deserves the spotlight. Darth Bane, Rule 2, that could be an entire series right there. Live action. Darth Zana, Darth Talon, Darth Revan, Exar Kun. There's so many stories that could be told in other branches of the Star Wars galaxy if the morons at Lucasfilm would just branch the frick out and stop cramming everything in this little tiny bubble. That's what people lose interest. It's as simple as that. I didn't think it was that difficult to branch out in Star Wars. Galaxy, far, far away. Galaxy. They turned this into a bloody neighborhood. Again, that's exactly why The Phantom Menace has done so well in the box office this week. I kind of wish the Outlaws game came out already. I think it's coming out in August or something. I'll definitely be playing early access for that. So I'm curious at this point to see how it's going to be. I'm not expecting too much, but yeah, give it a shot, I guess. But yeah. It's just like, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I'm like, there hasn't been a Star Wars film in 5 years. 5 years. It's a long time. The last shitty movie Disney Wars crapped out was Rise of Palpatine, 2019. This is how bad Lucasfilm is at making Star Wars films, because if George Lucas was still involved, yeah, he didn't have like 10-year gaps between the prequels. There was at least, I mean, they recast Anakin for Attack of the Clones, but there was only like, in the movie, there was only 10 years passed, but in real life, what was it? Phantom Menace was 1999. Attack of the Clones was what, 2003 or something? And Revenge of the Sith was 2005. I remember because I was in middle school when it was coming out. When Revenge of the Sith came out in theaters, I was in middle school. I remember the trailers. And the tagline always said, "The saga is complete." So that was 1 through 6. The saga is done. I was ready for it then. And then I, of course, got my Expanded Universe books. So that's always going to be the case. But turn around and he's selling it to Mickey Mouse. What are you doing? Like, I get it's him wanting the retirement plan thing, but I don't know, man. There was something off about Empress KK from the beginning. Like, this boy is a slimy snake. All she needs is the robes and the hood and the lightning. She's the emperor in real life. She's exactly what George Lucas envisioned when he wrote that character. To a T. She's old and wrinkly. All she needed the robes and the hood. And it's a wrap. It's really sad. I'm like, I always feel bad for newcomers to the series because where do you even start? You just say original trilogy, of course, but like now there's a whole bunch of other extra stuff that honestly just kind of confuse people. I've been reading Expanded Universe books for a long time, so my love of Star Wars comes from the Expanded Universe, not the movies as much. Love the OT. I like the prequels. They have their problems. The original trilogy has problems. Most of the stupid teddy bears in Return of the Jedi. Awful. It's a cartoon at that point. I used to love Return of the Jedi as a kid. But growing up, seeing those stupid teddy bears take out the Empire with sticks and rocks. It's stupid. But people complain more about Jar Jar Binks than the teddy bears. But the teddy bear is just as stupid as Jar Jar Binks. It's the same exact thing. Different era, same exact thing. They're both stupid. Now, those were Wookiees tearing up the stormtroopers. I'll be down for it 100%. Teddy bears? I'm just like, seriously? I guess you're just trying to sell toys or something. It's just, But yeah, that's it for my rant for now. But yeah, that guy looks terrible. There's no way I'm watching that. Unfortunately, people, Star Wars is done. The only thing left is the re-releases at this point. I ain't paying to see a movie called Mandalorian and Grogu. I ain't paying to see a movie about Rey. These are really smoking hot, but I ain't watching no Rey movie. Never got nothing else lined up. probably be another decade before they do. No, these morons. Unless they bring some other classic character back that died or something. Which honestly wouldn't surprise me at this point.